Hello everyone, KosakChess here, and I can proudly say that we finished the double day. In the round number 3, I played against the compatriot, finally, Jakub Janeczko, the guy from Warsaw, the capital of this beautiful country of Poland. And let's maybe go directly to the game because I am bad at these introductions. E4, C5, and D3. Uh, a lot of you may be thinking that this might look like a surprise, like this is a sideline of a sidelines. He wants to get out of this all main lines of some Najdorf because I really like playing Najdorf. But if you check the database of Jakub Janeczko, this is his pet line. This is the move which he uses most often. And like I didn't have much time to prepare. The only thing I have to the only device I can prepare on is this mobile phone. Yes. So during the walk from my apartment to the playing venue, as I told in the first video, it's like about 20 minutes. During this walk, I checked on the Lichess engine. Some interesting line, like maybe not interesting, but knight c6, g3, g6, bishop g2, bishop g7. So I developed normally as in the closed Sicilian, and he played the move f4. And I know that but remember, this is the sorry, something disappeared. Oh yeah, now we are back. The the engine from the mobile says that the move b5 is the most correct one. It makes perfect sense, but it looks strange because I don't develop pieces. I start to make random moves on the queen side. But we are playing Sicilian, and in general, our target is to play on the queen side, move the pawns, limit the possibilities of these pieces, and I think I tried to do it in a good manner. Knight c3, d6, and like to be honest with you, I knew that this position is good for black. It's like minus 0.4.3, so a stable edge. But the more you look at this position, the more you understand that it is not as easy as it may look like. Because I know that I should push on the queen side, but again, I can't forget about developing my pieces and making a castle. But I know that white has really simple plan: h3 g4 and f5 g5, and to push these pawns and to checkmate me quickly. And during the game, I was really, really afraid of that attack. Of course, it happened in the game because Kuba played almost by hand all the moves. I played the move b4, knight e2, and knight f6. It took me a lot of time. He plays h3, and like I have to tell you something. I know that because you sometimes analyze similar positions with the engine when there is a close Sicilian, and the engine always gives you an advantage. Like, he doesn't care about this attack, he doesn't care about these pawns, like he even allows white to go for it, but he just doesn't care. He just pushes the pawns on the queen side, he just pushes the pieces there, and he's fine. During the game, I wasn't that sure if I would be fine, because I see that these pawns are coming, the danger is coming. Yeah. But like I decided to believe in in nowadays technology, and I tried to believe that the engines are right. That's why I started with the move a5, g4, and bishop a6. Again, it took me a lot of time. You can see I have 40 minutes of disadvantage on the clock. I know it's a lot, especially in the opening part. But I need to convince myself, I needed to convince myself that I am not going to checkmate, to be checkmated, right? Bishop e3, knight d7, bishop e3, knight d7, rook b1, and the move a4. Like, white's moves are really, really simple. He doesn't even have to think for a second. His moves are really natural. b3, I think, reasonable move because this pawn on b2 hangs in a lot of variations. And now the move, like, I close my eyes and I made a castle. I made a castle in front of this pawns in front of these pieces. There are only 2 pieces where are not on the king side, and I made a castle. I am proud of this because I suppose, or I assume that still black has an advantage, because I remember that during the analysis, in a lot of similar positions, I have the advantage. But during the game, imagine that I was scared. That's why I spent so much time. He plays the move f5, knight e5, queen d2. You may ask, like, what's the plan for black in this position? This is a good thing. For some reason, I pushed these pawns. So I decided to take the pawn, ab3, play bishop b5 with the idea of rook a8 and rook a8 and rook a2, and hope for some activity. And the more I looked at this position, the more he started to think, because he was playing by hand, he was trying to implicate that he's prepared and he's sure and he's self-confident, etc., etc. But the more he fought during the game, like, the more I liked my position. He played the move bishop h6, logical move because my bishop is always strong, and rook a8 with my idea. Bishop g7, king g7, g5. Oh, some f6 idea. But I don't care, rook a2. And I missed this move f6. I only thought that f6 is possible when he takes the knight on e5 and d5 f6. d5 because I want to have this great outpost on d4, and this pawn also blocks this pawn, which means that this also blocks this bishop. So d takes e5, I think good strategical idea. ef6, gf6, king h8, and something similar could be on the board. But I missed this move f6. The idea is that if I take, and if I take with the queen, I missed it. Like, he has knight d4, and I am not entirely sure how to assess this position, because I can even sacrifice the queen. The thing is that my bishop is hanging. I can even sacrifice the queen, and after rook f1, cd4, count for some compensation like this. I have beautiful knight on e5. Unfortunately, I have damaged pawn structure, which means that my knight is fixed on the c6, and I don't really like it, because I want to remove it one day and play rook c8, rook c2, and that's what I really disliked in this position. Probably it's still okay, because this bishop is... because this bishop is a little bit stupid there. Some bishop d3 ideas are still in the air. So, of course, it might be... I should have compensation there. I should have compensation. But I decided during the game that there's no need to go for such, let's say, complications, and I went for even more complications, because I played king h8. So I tell you, okay, man, you can play queen h6 with the idea of queen g7, knight g5, but first I take your knight and just play rook g8, as nothing happens. And I think that now this is white who is suffering, because I defended from the mate ideas. This rook is annoying because rook c2, queen f6 I can grab a pawn, knight d5 in any moment, even sometimes bishop d3 ideas are still in the air, so I think white's position is about to collapse. He went for really, really great complications, but he probably underestimated my defense, I think. Played the move knight g5, which I saw playing king h8. I thought that he should play knight c1. I know this move looks ugly, but he just needs to kick off the rook. And if he kicks off the rook, just come back, maybe. Because this rook is annoying, right? Later I will show you in what happened in the game. Probably, at least this is what I thought. This is the best way for him to deal with this position. Although this rook on a5 is really tricky, because now after queen f6, knight d4, let's have a look that I protect my bishop. So maybe not knight e2, but maybe now knight g5. Maybe now knight g5. Because he played knight g5 immediately. And, well, by playing king h8, I didn't really calculate all these variations which happened in the game. But I just trusted my position, that it's not going to collapse, and I have so many pieces, especially this knight on e5 is really good, is centralized, is close to my king, and I think I can regroup my pieces on that quick way that I will defend from everything. I just accepted the challenge, took the pawn, and he played knight h7. Probably he just has to. King h7 and rook f4. If he goes queen g5, I think I may consider even bishop e2. Queen h4, bishop h5, rook f5. This was the thing I was calculating. Because after taking, now he has queen h5, king g8, and queen h6. Although, if something really bad happens, I can even play queen f6, I think. And yeah, but what am I talking about? It should be lost. It should be lost. But after rook f5, I think I can play just rook h8 to just just to escape. And if he takes gh5, queen h5, king g8, queen g5, I have knight g6. Rook h8, really useful piece because it covers the h6 square. So he has to go rook f4. And I was calculating two variations. And I decided to go for the more forced one. Because I went for g5. Maybe the alternative is king g8. But he can go for rook f1 and rook h4 idea and queen h6. Like what I was thinking about. I was thinking of rook c2, queen e1, rook e2, queen h4, rook g2, king h1, something like this, with the idea of queen h6. But in any moment, I think I have something like this. This is what I calculated. Knight d7, queen h6, knight f6, and rook h4. But I have knight h5. And rook h5, gh5. This rook is really helpful because it covers the g file, and he can give me a check on g1. This is amazing that such a, like a weird standing rook is winning me a game. But I went for g5, rook f5. During the game, I was also thinking that maybe rook h4 works, but I think it doesn't. Gh4, queen g5, knight g6, rook f1. Just to try to know queen h5, queen h6 idea, but I can just take on e2, and I cover the h5 square. If he wants to play knight f4 with the same idea, the thing is that he doesn't threat me anything. Like if he goes queen h5, queen h6, sorry. If he wants to, I touchpad, queen h5, queen h6, I can go queen f6 in any variation, so I was really safe. After rook f5, I played rook g8. I think this is the last but needed accurate move. Now I have something like queen f8, queen h6 to transfer my queen to defend my king. And additionally, I protect the pawn. It is as simple as that. He played knight c1. Rook g5 doesn't help because I can just take the pawn. Rook h5, king g7, rook f1. And I was even thinking of playing rook takes c2 there. If rook f6, then I take the queen, and rook g5, king f8, rook g8, king h8, king g8, sorry, I escape from everything and I'm winning. So he played a desperate move, but knight c1, rook c2, queen d1, rook g2, king g2, bishop e4, king h2, queen f8, and my opponent decided to call it a day because queen h6 is the answer for queen h5. And I defended from the mate, the knight is defending the f7 pawn, and on the end of the variation, my bishop is still attacking the two rooks, and I'm winning. I really want to check this game with the engine, because like during the game I wasn't that sure if it works or not, but if we can really trust these engines, I think this game was pretty decent. Yeah, you can see b5, the first line, like, but of course I wouldn't even invent this move during the game. And knight rook b, yeah, like this was this was the preparation. Knight c3, d6, castle, b4, knight d2, knight f6, h3, a5, okay, g4. Well, okay, so like he wants to even castle even quicker, but as you can see, I play some moves, castle, b5, knight d5. It is crazy because during the game you can really be afraid that you're going to be mated soon. These pawns are advanced so much, he has so many pieces there, but engine doesn't really care. Even though the action on the queen side is really slow because you play a4, bishop b5, rook a8, you make some random silent moves, and it's still fine, even if you give him time to regroup pieces on the queen side. It's still fine. It's amazing. AB5, AB3, AB3, bishop B5, rook A8, bishop G7, king G7, G5, rook A2. Wow, like, what is happening? F6, takes, king H8. Yeah, I could go for queen F6, knight FD4, queen F1, of course, but king H8. Wow, knight G5 is in inaccuracy. What do you think of knight C1? Because I thought, oh, knight C1 is, yeah, knight C1 is the best move, but still minus, like minus 0.5. Knight G5, bishop D3, knight H7, king H7, rook F4, and these both moves, G5 and king G8 wins, okay. But I played G5, rook F5, rook G8. Wow, KosakChess, what a brilliant game! Wow, no words. I am surprised. I am surprised. Like, okay, this is the 21st century. Unfortunately, like the Botvinnik is disappointed probably that I used all the engine ideas. But sorry, this is how the nowadays chess works. Like, looks like, look like. Who cares about the grammar? I won a decent game. So I should believe the engine. I should believe that I am not going to be checkmated. And I wasn't. So a good lesson, and also good game additionally. So 2 out of 2 today. Really good performance. And I hope that now we are going to climb to the top, that we are going to face maybe some international master, maybe some 2400 player, hopefully. But for now, thank you very much for your presence once again, and see you in the next recaps.